Wednesday, the 1st of July 2026. Let us start with the absolute atrocity that is Cassius' face on. Are you kidding me with this imposter storyline? Cassius pointing a loaded gun at Joe Fitzpatrick is just the tip of the iceberg of this complete mess. Joe is just a detective, trying to do his job, sniffing around the police department, trying to figure out who the inside man is that helped Jen Sidwell escape. And his reward for actually doing police work is having a lethal weapon shoved in his face. But what makes my blood boil, what absolutely infuriates me to my core, is who is holding that gun. It is the man parading around with the face of our sweet, heroic Nathan West. Every time I see Cassius wearing Nathan's face, manipulating the people who loved him, I want to throw my remote control right through the television screen. This is ruining the character arc of Nathan's legacy. Why do the writers insist on torturing us by turning a hero's memory into a villain's mask? But wait, guys, it gets so much worse. Because now, Cassius is actually considering betraying Ross Cullum to help Jen Sidwell escape Port Charles. Do you believe this audacity? Cassius is standing there, weighing his options, looking at Sidwell, and thinking about forming a dark alliance with this absolute monster. Sidwell is begging for help and promising him a massive reward, and Cassius, being the greedy, soulless, opportunistic imposter that he is actually tempted to take the deal. We are looking at a potential alliance between two of the most despicable villains on the canvas right now. And what does this mean for Cullum? Cullum thinks he has Cassius on a tight leash, but there is no honor among thieves. If Cassius flips and helps Sidwell escape, the amount of chaos, destruction, and terror that will rain down on Port Charles will be unprecedented. I am losing my mind over this. Am I the only one losing my mind over this? Speaking of the devil himself, let us talk about Ross Cullum and the terrifying scene at Turning Woods. Cullum directly threatens Jack Brennan, and guys, this was a chilling, life-or-death confrontation that had me holding my breath. Cullum is standing there in Brennan's room looking like the Grim Reaper himself, telling Brennan that his death is going to come much faster than he thinks. My heart was pounding out of my chest. Jack Brennan is a master strategist, a former head of the WSB, a man who usually holds all the cards. But right now, he is incredibly vulnerable, sitting in a recovery facility directly in the crosshairs of a ruthless double agent who has absolutely nothing left to lose. Cullum has already killed Marco Rios. He has already swapped Britt Westbourne's medication with poison, and now he is ready to assassinate Brennan just to tie up loose ends. The sheer audacity of this man. I am terrified for Brennan. The writers are pushing this to the absolute limit, and I am not sure if my nerves can handle the stress of losing another great character. And who happens to be stumbling into this horrifying, dangerous mess? Nina Reeves. Nina makes a shocking, disturbing discovery this week. And guys, she is in a full-blown panic. What did she hear? Did she overhear Ross Cullum ordering the hit on Jack Brennan? Or did she finally overhear something that proves her precious Nathan is actually the evil twin Cassius? If Nina finds out that she has been played this entire time, that she has been pouring her heart out to the man who is actively keeping her beloved Aunt Liesel Obrecht hostage, she is going to absolutely lose it. I am screaming at the television. Nina, open your eyes. This poor woman has been through so much trauma in her life. The coma, the stolen babies, the lies from Valentine, the heartbreak with Sonny. She cannot take another heart-wrenching betrayal. This impending revelation is going to shatter her world all over again, and the suspense is literally killing me. Now, let us move over to the horrifying captivity situation happening over at Windermere. Jocelyn Jackson and Liesel Obrecht are locked in a cold, dark cell together. And what does Liesel do? She announces to Jocelyn that she has completed Caesar Faison's final project. I am fuming. I am so angry. I can barely breathe. How many times are we going to resurrect Cesar Faison's evil legacy? The man is dead. He has been dead. But his ghost continues to haunt this show and torture these characters. First it was Peter August terrorizing the canvas for years, and now it is this mysterious final project. Jocelyn is absolutely furious, and honestly, I do not blame her one bit. Jocelyn is screaming at Liesel, pointing out that helping Cullum and finishing this evil project means they are all doomed. Jocelyn's anger is so palpable, and it breaks my heart to see this young woman so terrified and betrayed by the adult who is supposed to be working with her to escape. But guys, listen to me. I know Lisa Lobrecht. I have watched her for years through all her villainous phases and her redemption arcs. She is cunning, she is brilliant, and above all else, she is a survivor. Even though Jocelyn is throwing a massive fit, I am convinced that Liesel has a secret backup plan. She has too. Liesel Obrecht would not just hand over a completed, highly dangerous project to a maniac like Ross Cullum without building in a failsafe, a virus, or a deadly trap. She is trying to soothe Jocelyn, trying to get her to calm down and trust the process, but Jocelyn is too young and too hot-headed to see the bigger picture. I am literally praying that Liesel is playing a massive game of chess here and that she is going to turn the tables on Cullum when he least expects it. If she genuinely just helped the villain, this is going to be the most outrageous writing in the history of the show. While Jocelyn is trapped in that dungeon, her mother is going completely rogue. Carly Spencer is preparing for a highly dangerous, incredibly risky rescue mission to break into Windermere. Carly is operating purely on a mother's desperation. She knows the police are useless right now, she knows Cullum is a monster, and she is taking matters into her own hands. I love Carly's fierce protective instinct. I really do. But my goodness, she is walking right into a death trap. Windermere is an absolute fortress of doom right now, crawling with danger, and Carly thinks she can just waltz in there and save her daughter? It is a suicide mission! I am watching this through my fingers, terrified that Carly is going to end up locked in a cell right next to Jocelyn and Liesel! The sheer panic of knowing she is risking her life is too much to bear. And here's the part that makes me want to pull my hair out by the roots. Carly leaves her emergency instructions with Danny, Morgan, and Charlotte Cassadine. She is involving teenagers in this mobster mess. What in the world is she thinking? Carly tells Danny and Charlotte that if they do not hear from her by 8 p.m., they need to call Sonny Corinthos immediately. Guys, these kids have already been through enough trauma for a lifetime. Charlotte was almost kidnapped by a rogue WSB agent right in the Crimson office. Danny had to break into the WSB headquarters to find out about his father, Jason. And now they are sitting at the Quartermain boathouse, acting as the mission control for a highly illegal, life-threatening rescue operation. This is a complete disrespect to the fans who just want to see these kids have a normal, safe life for 5 minutes. I am so stressed out for them, carrying the weight of Carly's life on their young shoulders. And of course, the emergency contact is Sonny Corinthos. It always comes back to Sonny, doesn't it? If Carly doesn't make it back by 8 p.m., Sonny is going to unleash absolute hell on Spoon Island. Can you imagine the sheer panic and raging fury Sonny will feel when Danny calls him and says Carly went to Windermere and never came back? Sonny is already dealing with Jen Sidwell's chaotic revenge trap. He is already trying to protect Danny from the truth about Jason being in custody. And now he is going to have to mount a full-scale mob invasion of Windermere to save his ex-wife and his former stepdaughter. The stakes have never been higher, and I am sitting here sweating just thinking about the absolute bloodbath that is going to happen if the clock strikes 8 p.m. without a word from Carly. Meanwhile, in another part of town, we have Tracy Quartermain confronting Sonny Corinthos. Oh, you guys know how much I live for a Tracy and Sonny showdown. These two have decades of history, decades of clashing, threatening each other, and throwing their weight around Port Charles. Tracy is already furious about her recent arrest. She is bonding with Michael over their shared hatred of Willow, and now she is getting right in Sonny's face. The sheer arrogance of these two titans colliding is fantastic television, but it is also so frustrating because they are both so incredibly stubborn. Tracy does not back down from anyone, not even the biggest, most dangerous mob boss on the eastern seaboard. She channels the spirit of Edward Quartermain every time she glares at Sonny. And Sonny is certainly not about to let a Quartermain tell him what to do. It is pure fireworks. But what are they actually clashing over right now? They are both trying to give advice to young Giovanni Palmieri, and Gio is having absolutely none of it. Gio is standing his ground, refusing to listen to Tracy's bossy demands and Sonny's intimidating advice. Honestly, part of me says good for him, but also, Gio, are you crazy? When Tracy Quartermain and Sonny Corinthos are actually agreeing on something and telling you what to do, you should probably shut your mouth and listen. But no, the youth of today think they know absolutely everything. Gio's stubbornness is just adding another layer of frustration to this entire week. He is so out of his depth dealing with these power players. I am screaming at him through the screen to just nod and say yes, but he is digging his heels in, and it is going to cause him so much trouble. Finally, let us talk about the only thing that gave me a single moment to breathe during this entire chaotic, stressful episode: Ava Jerome and Ethan Lovett. Guys, the flirtatious banter between these two is absolutely off the charts. Ava's dealing with so much pressure from Sunny forcing her into meetings. She is worried sick about Jen Sidwell's revenge plot, and Ethan is supposed to be this cunning, manipulative messenger delivering Sunny's threats. But instead of a tense, dark confrontation, they are verbally sparring, teasing each other, and the chemistry is simply undeniable. It is a lighthearted, playful moment in the middle of a dark, depressing week, and I am entirely here for it. Ava has always loved a charming rogue, and Ethan is definitely his father, Luke Spencer's son, possessing all of that dangerous Spencer charm. But even with that tiny fleeting moment of fun, I am still absolutely boiling with rage over the rest of this show. The writers are dragging us through the mud, destroying decades of character legacies, and leaving our absolute favorites in mortal peril. If Carly gets captured at Windermere, or if Cassius gets away with this disgusting twin impersonation for one more week, I swear I am going to lose my mind. We deserve better, the characters deserve better, and I simply cannot take this emotional roller coaster anymore. I will be back tomorrow, and the writers better have some actual answers and resolutions for us, or I am going to explode. Let me know in the comments if you are as outraged as I am, because I need to know I am not suffering through this outrageous writing alone.